If you're only watching NVIDIA right now, you might be missing the biggest shift in AI. Because Morgan Stanley just made a claim that almost nobody is paying attention to. Around 90% of AI workloads are now happening on CPUs. Not GPUs. CPUs. 3 years ago, CPUs barely mattered in AI. Today, they may be the bottleneck of the entire system. This isn't just another upgrade cycle. It's a fundamental rewiring of how AI actually works. What actually changed is not the chip, but the way AI works. For the past few years, AI followed a simple pattern. You ask a question, and it gives you an answer. Text, images, code, everything was essentially a one-shot generation task. These workloads are highly parallel, which is exactly what GPUs are designed for. That's why GPUs became the center of the AI boom. But that model is breaking. AI is no longer just generating answers. It's starting to execute tasks. Instead of asking a question, you give AI a goal. The system breaks that goal into steps, plans how to execute them, calls tools, writes and revises code, retrieves information, and keeps iterating until the task is complete. This is no longer a single computation. It's a workflow. And once you see it that way, the real shift becomes clear. AI is no longer a compute problem. It's a coordination problem. And once AI becomes a workflow, GPUs are no longer enough. GPUs are incredibly powerful, but they are built for one thing, doing the same operation at massive scale. Agents don't work like that. They wait, they decide, they branch, they retry, step by step. This kind of workload is not about raw computation, it's about control. And control is what CPUs are built for. According to Morgan Stanley, in agent-based AI systems, more than 90% of execution time happens on the CPU side. That's a profound shift. Most of the time, AI isn't thinking faster, it's deciding what to do next, which leads to a deeper realization. The bottleneck didn't disappear, it moved. So the real shift is that AI is no longer a chip problem, but a system problem. To understand what's happening, it helps to think of AI as 3 layers. The brain, large models powered by GPUs. The system, orchestration, and scheduling, handled by CPUs. The memory, context and storage, supported by DRAM. For years, the industry focused almost entirely on the first layer. Bigger models, more GPUs, more compute. Now, the bottleneck is shifting. First to the system layer, then to memory. AI is no longer about buying a faster chip. It's about building a working system. And you can already see this shift in one simple ratio. One of the clearest signals is the changing ratio between CPUs and GPUs in data centers. It used to look like this. 1 CPU paired with 12 GPUs. Then it shifted to 1 CPU paired with 2 GPUs. And in the next generation, it may flip entirely. 2 CPUs for every GPU. At first glance, this looks like a small architectural tweak. In reality, it changes the entire demand curve. When data centers scale under this new ratio, CPU demand doesn't just grow, it accelerates. It doesn't increase gradually. It explodes. And once the ratio flips, the money starts moving with it. Morgan Stanley estimates that agent-based AI could generate between $32 billion and $60 billion in incremental CPU demand by 2030. But CPUs are only part of the story. Agent systems require longer context, persistent memory, and continuous data processing. This drives a surge in DRAM demand, potentially adding 15 to 45 exabytes over the coming years. And then there's an area most people overlook: packaging. As CPU volumes increase, so does demand for materials like ABF substrates. Because supply in these areas is constrained, pricing power begins to shift. In semiconductor cycles, profits don't always go where demand is highest. They go where supply is tightest. So the question is no longer what grows, but who actually captures the upside. Several companies are well positioned. AMD with strong momentum in cloud CPUs. NVIDIA expanding into CPUs to control more of the stack. ARM Holdings, moving beyond licensing into full chip design. Intel, still holding a deep ecosystem advantage. But this shift is bigger than any single company. It's the entire AI infrastructure stack being repriced from compute to memory to packaging. And that leads to one conclusion: the market is still underestimating. This is not a story about GPUs becoming irrelevant. GPUs are still essential to AI. But the narrative has already changed. AI is no longer just about compute power. It's about coordination, memory, and system design. The market, however, is still pricing AI as if it were only about GPUs. That gap is where the opportunity lies. Because the next winners in AI won't be the obvious ones. And by the time the market fully realizes that, the trade may already be crowded.